Today we'll be reading Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Pictures by Clement Hurd. This is the cover of the book. Goodnight Moon is the title of the book. This tells us the author's name, by Margaret Wise Brown. If the book is by Margaret Wise Brown, Margaret is the author of the book. She's the one who wrote the words. This tells us that the pictures are by Clement Hurd. If the pictures are by Clement, then we call Clement the illustrator. Before we read the story, we're going to do a picture walk through the book, look at some of the pictures, and think about some of the rhyming words we might hear in this story. This is the title page of the book. It tells us the title again, Goodnight Moon, the author's name, Margaret Wise Brown, and the illustrator's name, Clement Hurd. Let's look at this first picture. What are some things you see in this picture? What colors are the wall? What do you see here? That's a telephone. What do you see here? That's a red balloon. So what do you see on the nightstand? This looks like a bowl of oatmeal to me. Another word for oatmeal is mush. And here's a brush. Mush, brush are rhyming words. What do you see in this picture? Do you know any nursery rhymes that would go with this picture? Maybe one that goes, hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such a sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Well, here you have it. The cow jumped over the moon. What do you see in this picture? Do you know a folk tale with these characters? Goldilocks and the Three Little Bears. Some rhyming words in this picture are bears, chairs. Bears and chairs sound the same on the end, so bears and chairs are rhyming words. What do you see in this picture? And what do you see in this picture? Some rhyming words we can see here are house, mouse. Mouse and house have the same vowel sound and the same ending sound. So mouse and house are rhyming words. What are young cats called? Kittens. What are gloves that only have one big hole for all the fingers called? Mittens. Mittens, kittens are rhyming words. Socks, clocks are some more rhyming words. Here we have the rhyming words again. Mush, brush. Can you say the rhyming words mush, brush with me? Here's a little old lady sitting in a rocking chair. And if it was nighttime and she was trying to get a young child to go to sleep, what might she say? Hush. Hush, brush, mush are rhyming words. Do you see any more rhyming words on this page? 1, 2 clocks, 1, 2 socks, clocks, socks. Can you say those rhyming words? How about hush, mush? Can you say those rhyming words? What about mittens, kittens? Can you say those rhyming words? And mouse, house. Can you say those rhyming words? Don't forget, bears, chairs. Can you say those rhyming words? What do you see in these pictures? What do you think the little boy bunny will be saying to the moon? What do you think the little boy bunny will be saying to the cow jumping over the moon? I think he'll even tell the bears in the chairs the same thing. Do you remember these rhyming words? Do you remember these rhyming words? Here are two more rhyming words. Moon, balloon. Moon, balloon. Can you say those rhyming words? Who do you see in this picture? The little kittens and the mittens. Can you say these rhyming words? Look at this picture. Can you pick out all the rhyming words that we've talked about so far? I bet that little bunny will even say goodnight to the mouse and the house. Can you say these rhyming words? Think about all the things we've seen in the picture that rhyme. Think about what you would be saying and what you would be doing if you were the little bunny boy trying to go to sleep. We said this can be called oatmeal. There's another story, a folk tale about three little bears, where this also has another name. It can be called porridge. Porridge, mush, and oatmeal would be similar to one another. Look, the little lady even got the kittens to quit playing with her yarn. What do you see in this picture? Would the setting of this picture be inside the house or outside the house? What's happening in the room? The little old lady has left her chair. The kittens have taken over there. The little boy bunny is finally under the covers. It's gotten darker and darker in each picture. Now let's read the words, and as we read, be listening for those rhyming words. Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Pictures by Clement Hurd. Goodnight Moon. What's the author's name in this story? The one who wrote the words? Margaret. Who's the illustrator of this story that drew the pictures? Clement. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of a cow jumping over the moon. And there were three little bears sitting on chairs, and two little kittens, and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, and a comb, and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Hush." Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. See the little bunny turning to say goodnight to each thing. Good night, kittens, and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. See what the kittens were doing earlier in this story. Good night, little house, and good night, mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. I hope that you have enjoyed the book Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown as much as I did when I was a young girl.